To prove news about better how any say Parliament are shut down. Parliament for almost almost home view. Na Speaker of Parliament say omunko fie na omunko di bronya no. I didn't know omunko di bronya. Say Amin Adams our finance minister. So to me the mini budget for the year 2025. That's the first quarter mini budget na so the Parliament. Omo abona frena Charlie Frakadam or the agiom. Na Speaker says idea say two parties no and two oppositions no. Omo ntumi anko brekum antumi anje hwe antum dia and the omo kofie na 2nd of January no obesan so atu ne sadia from enti the echo so Parliament and
2nd January. This means that upon between 1st January and the time and it needs at least to be put on the floor, there will be a government shutdown. The government will not have funds to operate. There will be no money to use for goods and services, capital expenditure, among other things. So that is their lowdown, and the Speaker of Parliament said you have really no option than to adjourn the House indefinitely. Following this, the leaders on both sides have been trading blames as to who exactly is to blame for this. None of them really willing to accept the blame. And the House is currently on break up until 2nd January.
And following that, there's been counter accusations and etc. from both sides. Tell us more.
Yes, we first heard from the minority leader, Dr. Kassel Atufosin, who said the government had reneged on its responsibilities to actually present this mini budget. And that as far as they are concerned, it's simply because the government is not alive to its duties and responsibilities. And that is why, despite the persistent assurances, they haven't showed up to do that. If you have that insight, we can listen to the minority leader, Dr. Kassel Atufosin.
All right, Kweku, before we do that, what next now that Parliament is on break?
Can you come again?
I'm asking what next right after Parliament has gone on break. What happens?
Well, between now and when Parliament resumes, nothing can happen. And the House will not be sitting the whole of next week. It's Christmas. And then the start of the next 2 weeks is also the early week of New Year. But the House is returning as soon as practicable. That is 2nd January 2025. And when they come, the expectation is that the minister will come and present this mini budget at the start of 2025. If he doesn't present it, Dr. Kassel Atufosin has assured that the new government on assumption of office in January of 2025 will expeditiously put this mini budget before the House and approve it to ensure that the government shutdown will not last for a longer period. And in particular, public sector workers can draw down on their salaries in January of 2025. The MPP side says this government shutdown is as a result of what they call NDC lawlessness, quoted unquote. They say that the NDC MPs are simply not being welcoming for other government business to be done. And that is why this inevitable state of play has occurred.
Grateful Kweku Asante, our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, bringing us to speed on this very latest development. Let's make economic sense out of all of this. Joining us via Zoom as well is economist Professor Lord Mensah. Thanks so much, sir, for joining us here on Business Live. Now, your initial thoughts about happenings with regards to the passage of the mini budget. Surprised are you?
I think it's unfortunate, to get to this level where budget approvals and readings has become a problem as far as, Parliament is concerned. The Parliament knows that we're running a system that every penny that government spends must go through, the parliamentary system. So I don't think, it doesn't matter how tight, their schedules are, how difficult, they're not coming to terms with agreement within the chamber. I don't think it should affect, the budget reading, because the technical men who prepares the budget have been on the ground since October. Budget preparation normally deeply starts somewhere in October. So just coming to the floor to come and read the budget, I don't think it should have been a problem. But like I said earlier in my submission some time ago, it has to do with ego management. And Parliament needs to understand that Parliament is just a subset of the country. And trust me, with this delay, there's a serious economic consequence to it, which we may take it for granted, but it's a deep one. Already, we have an economy that is, well dominated by government business, and so if there's a delay in government budget reading, trust me, the economic consequence is a huge one.
And I want to know the economic consequences. Tell me more.
Yeah, of course, we know what is on the budget, salary payment. We know what is on the budget, talking about interest payment, talking about goods expenditure on goods and services, and even in terms of revenue, mobilization. I mean, any attempt that government will, go about mobilizing revenue would tend to be kind of illegality because, there should be kind of approval of budget in parliament before government can go ahead to mobilize revenue to meet up the necessary expenditures that's supposed to be. So people on the street can decide not to pay, their tithes, their taxes and all those, and nothing can happen. So for me, I think what they are doing, they shouldn't think it's just happening in the chamber, but then, or maybe trying to squeeze one or way or the other, another government who is coming to power or trying to arrange some kind of economic bomb that the next administration is likely to come and meet or something. But they should understand that this goes beyond, just, parliament. It's the Ghanaian economy we are looking at. Delay in payments in salaries, delay in payment for salaries, it can demoralize workforce and production can go down completely. Again, for interest payment, you're still deepening the investor confidence that has waned as far as the Ghanaian economy is concerned. So from where I sit, there's a deep, economic, difficulty that can go with it if it continues.
Well, some have also said this is going to create some sort of uncertainties in the minds of investors if the over 86 billion cedis mini budget is not passed. You agree with them, don't you?
Yes, I do, because the investor confidence can easily go down. I mean, investors come to the economy to trade. I mean, they trade and they expect that whatever activities they generate in the economy, they will go back and then pay those who are giving them the money. So if there's a delay in government business, I mean, you don't expect any investor to come in with his money.
For you, what do you think is the way out for all of this?
I think it's about time we Parliament needs some kind of referential, courses for them to appreciate, the essence of being in Parliament. I mean, not just to, throw tantrums here and there. They need to appreciate that when push comes to shoves, I mean, as much as we are passing laws, you need to also have negotiation skills. You need to also have, the ability to convince, your counter, party, so that at least you can all come to terms and convert to a point where you move the country forward. So it's Ghana first.
Do you think?
And then also, like I said, we may have to look at the caliber of people that we send to Parliament, the quality and the kind of the understanding of economic issues and at the same time governance issues.
For you, do you believe that the incoming administration can do something about this mini budget the moment he assumes office?
Yes, of course. I mean, they've been in budget. Let me tell you, the budget process, I mean, the minority is always part of it. They go through the review processes and all those. The formulation, that is what comes from what we call the technical men on the ground. We're talking about Ministry of Finance. But then when it comes to the review of the budget before its reading and then also possibly the appropriation, it involves a committee in Parliament. So they are much aware of what is happening. And so it won't take much time to organize themselves, after the 7th of December to get a mini budget or possibly get us a full year budget.
Very well. Thank you so much, Professor Lord Mensah is an economist sharing his perspective with us here on the subject matter. Let's stay a while longer on the economy this time round. And the International Monetary Fund has assured that it remains committed to helping stabilize Ghana's economy with regards to technical and financial support. It followed fresh revelations from the fund, which showed that Ghana's economy is still exposed to serious threats despite the significant progress made under the program. Julie Zokas is the Director of Communications at the International Monetary Fund.
On December 2nd, the IMF's Executive Board completed the third review of the program. This gave Ghana access to $360 million US dollars, bringing total disbursements under the program to $1.9 billion. Performance under the program has been generally satisfactory, and there's been remarkable progress on debt restructuring. Economic growth is recovering rapidly. Inflation has importantly declined, although at a slower pace, and the fiscal position and the external position have continued to improve.
Inti yese sena midi kankan no Parliament adjournment what you say now on the 2nd of January 2025. With this, no, on share first 3 months of the year, no, near the bit me your salaries. Then they just say from the 2nd to the fifth, no, a bit me aqua sa the no or it me a bit me aqua present now it me it's your salaries and my workers what you say. Thank you very much for watching the video. May the good Lord bless you. In payback time, no, it me I any people die NBC.